What's going on, and welcome back. Dude, I'm tired. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm like really tired. This happens to me once a year where I go to bed and I can't sleep and I stay awake till the next day. And it sucks. I don't know why it happens, but it happens. Like I said, at least once a year. My bedtime is usually like around 11:30. And I go to bed and I pass out. Last night, I went to bed at 11:30 and I didn't fall asleep till 7:30 this morning. I had to call into work. And they already know at work that this happens to me at least once a year, like I said. But I was up all night, not playing video games or nothing like that, just laying in bed. And my brain wouldn't shut off. And I looked at my phone and it was like 4:30 in the morning. And I was wide awake. And my alarm was gonna go off at 5:30. And I thought, dude, I can't, if I fall asleep right now, I won't wake up in the morning on time to not only go to work, but take my son to school. So I stayed up till 6, called my supervisor and told him what was going on. He said, okay, get some rest, get some sleep. And I had to force myself to stay awake till 7 to wake my son up so he can get ready for school. I had to have him at school before 7:30. But while I was awake, laying in bed, my mind was going a million miles an hour. I was thinking about all the stupid things that I've done that could have got me killed. And I'm gonna share those with you right now. Back in the day when I was little, we used to go fishing in this town called Bommeray. It's like an hour away from here. This is this big lake. And I go fishing there with my cousin and my grandpa. And my grandpa had this truck. It was like a 60, I don't know, the year was like 60 something. This is an old pickup truck. And we put like, you know, the ice chest in the back, the fishing poles, the sleeping bags or whatever. We'd go that day, spend the night, and come back the next day. We used to ride, me and my cousin used to ride in the back of this pickup truck, in the bed of this pickup truck, all the way to the lake. Dude, we'd have to get on the highway and take off for like an hour drive. It was an hour drive on the highway. And we're sitting back there in the back of this pickup truck. And we get there and we go fish or whatever, and then the next day we'd come home and me and my cousin would sit in the back of the pickup truck and we'd come home. And I was thinking about it last night. I was like, that is the dumbest thing. That's the dumbest thing we could have ever done. Because number one, if my grandpa would have had a blowout on the highway and he would have lost control of the vehicle, dude, that's it. Me and my cousin would have flown on the back of the truck. We would have died. Dude, if we would have had a car accident, we would have been the first ones to die because we were sitting in the back of this pickup truck. We would have got thrown out at 70 miles an hour and that's it, it would have been over. But dude, you don't think about those things when you're little. You're thinking, oh, this is going to be cool. We're going to get in the back of a truck and we're going to take off down the highway. And that's what we did. Several times. Dude, you can't, dude. So, and then, dude, we had a neighbor. When I was growing up, we had these neighbors. And I used to play with his son. And then his dad one day was like, hey, let's go to Big Bend National Park. Now, Big Bend is like 2 hours away from here. We leave here, we get on the Marathon Highway. And 2 hours later, we're at Big Bend, right? So we're like, yes, let's do it. And again, we jumped in the back of a pickup truck, me and this kid, while his dad drove. And we went to Big Bend, like 2 hours away from here, doing like 80 on the highway. Dude, this highway is kind of notorious for having car accidents, all right? Now, they probably don't talk about it, but because I live here, I would hear the ambulance going down the highway. I'm like, oh, it's another car accident. Somebody died. But we were sitting in the back of this pickup truck doing like 80 down the highway. It's a big bend. Not even thinking, dude, if a car would have came and we would have had a head-on collision, dude, that's it. It would have been over for us. And not only that, it was like 100 degrees outside. So we're sitting back there with the sun just beating down on us. And then we got there, whatever. We ate a sandwich, drank some sodas, hung out there for a little bit, turned around and came right back home. And there we are in the back of the pickup truck. Again, dude, you can't, these days, you can't do that. You would get in so much trouble. If a highway patrol saw you sitting in the back of a pickup truck doing 80 down the highway, dude, someone's getting a ticket or they're going to jail. Dude, that's just the way it is over here, man. It's like, you can't do that these days. But we used to when we were little, right? Another example, my stepdad had this truck and he had this camper trailer in the back of the truck. It's one of those camper trailers. Let me see if I can explain this. It was kind of high, right? So the truck was this is the roof of the truck, let's just say, and the camper trailer was up, and the sleeping area of the camper would sit kind of like over the roof of the truck, right? Me and my brother we went camping one night. My stepdad took us camping one night. Where we went, I don't even remember, dude. I was so little, dude. I can't. But I remember he let us ride in the back of this camper trailer, and we were laying down basically above where my stepdad was at, sleeping in this aluminum shell, and that was kind of basically clamped down to the back of this truck, dude. If we would have had an accident again, dude, that camper would have been shredded to pieces. We would have been shredded to pieces, dude. But you don't think about that when you're little. You're like, oh, this is cool. We get to ride in the camper. And my dad was an alcoholic. My dad's not an alcoholic. My stepdad was an alcoholic, dude. Like, big time. Every day he'd drink liquor. Like, that was his favorite thing to do, to drink liquor. And I'm pretty sure he was driving that night drinking. I'm pretty sure. I remember we got to our camping destination that night, I guess. Or no, we did it. He pulled off to the side of the road. I guess he got tired or something. Or he was getting drunk. I don't know. But we were pulled over to the side of the truck, and I was like, oh, I was so scared. I didn't know where the hell we were at. It was dark, right? So he let us sit in the front with him. And my brother's in there messing with the radio and stuff. And again, my stepdad was drunk. And he like slapped the shit out of my brother's hand and told him, if you touch that radio one more time, I'm gonna break your fucking fingers. Dude, I was like, holy smokes. It's like, this is great. This is great. We're on a camping trip with a dickhead alcoholic with an anger issue. Like, this is fucking fantastic. We survived, obviously, but dude, that's just the dumb shit that we would do, like, that would put our lives in danger, that you would never do right, that you would never do now, right? And it was actually the adults that let us get away with that shit. And it's weird now that I think about it, because like I said, you can't do that shit these days. You can't, right? So I don't remember. Well, before I get to that, I gotta explain something. I'm like deathly afraid of snakes. I hate snakes. They scare the shit out of me. Like, completely scare the shit out of me. Now, that being said, I don't remember if you, I think it was last year, I put a video out where I'm like exploring my grandpa's abandoned house. If you haven't watched it, go look for it. If you want to watch it, dude. He lived out like on the outside of town, right? Across the street from my grandpa's house, there was this huge pasture with mesquite, cactus, and all kinds of stuff, dude, right? And dude, we live in West Texas, and this is like a breeding ground for for rattlesnakes. And when we were younger, we would like to go into this pasture and play. And it never crossed my mind like I could run into a rattlesnake at any time, because they were there, they were out there. My cousins would catch them all the time. One night, or one afternoon actually, me and a few of my cousins decided it was a good idea to go camping in this pasture. And we didn't go too far. We probably walked like maybe 500 feet away from the house, which now that I think about it, that's far enough. And we take sleeping bags and we start a campfire, and we lay our sleeping bags next to the campfire and sleep on the floor in the middle of this pasture in the summertime. And last night I was thinking about it. I was like, you know, at any time while we were sleeping, a rattlesnake could have crawled into one of our sleeping bags and bit us in our sleep and killed us. Because how would we know? We would be asleep, right? I mean, obviously you feel the snake bite you, but by the time whoever got bit, by the time the other guys woke up and we were so far away from the house, dude, we wouldn't have made it. It's like I said, it's the stupid shit that we used to do when we were younger. You know, we put ourselves in danger, but we never thought about, because when you're younger you think, oh, I'm gonna live forever. And right now I'm 47. Dude, I treat life like it's precious. Dude, I treat life like, oh my God, dude, I gotta take care of myself. And I gotta be careful with what I eat. I gotta be careful with what I drink. I worry a lot about, like I said, I mentioned this, I think it was last week. I worry about my health, and I want to live a long life. And then I started thinking last night about all this shit that we used to do when we were little, and I'm like, holy smokes, dude. That was stupid. That was dumb. But yeah, that was a couple weeks ago. My cousin came down from San Antonio, and we went to my grandpa's house. And we were looking around. We were looking for these old photos. That one day that I went in there when I shot that video, I found a wooden box in one of the closets at his house that had a bunch of old photos in it. We went to go retrieve those photos, but the closet was empty. Somebody went in there and emptied out that room. We're like, holy smoke, somebody's been in here and they stole shit. I did find something pretty cool though. I found a painting my dad did, and it's pretty nice, and he painted it like a year after I was born, and I brought it home with me. I haven't hung it up yet, but when I do, I'll show you. It's a pretty nice painting. I saw it, I was like, I wonder who the artist is, because I wonder if this painting is worth any money. So when I pulled the painting out, it had my dad's name, and I was like, no shit, he painted this. But there was evidence, when we went over there this last time, there was evidence in that house that there was animals had gotten in, right? And my cousin was like, he told me kind of before we left, he's like, if I were you, he goes, I wouldn't come in here during the summer because there's a hole. He goes, there's a hole in the wall back there somewhere. He's like, I saw it. He goes, and rattlesnakes are gonna get in to this house. Dude, that's all he told. That's all he needed to tell me. I'm never going back into that house again. Dude, if he wouldn't have told me that, I probably would have went back and explored more. But now that he told me that, I'm never going back into that house again. I told my uncle, because my aunt's like, my dad's sister, she's kind of like in charge of that house, and they don't know what to do with it. Like, it's bad. My mom at one time, she wanted me to buy it, and me and my cousin were looking at it a couple weeks ago, and he was like, dude, it would cost at least to make it livable. He goes, at least $100,000 easily. He goes, the first thing you'd have to do is replace the roof, and that roof would cost, as big as the house is, he's like, that roof would easily cost, at least in the state that it's in, close to $40,000 to $50,000 to repair and replace. And then you'd have to go in there and tear the walls down and redo the whole inside of that house. He's like, it's not even worth it. And then I was telling my uncle, I was like, dude, I didn't call him dude, but I was like, listen, I was telling my cousin, said there's a hole in the wall and the rattlesnakes are gonna get in. That shit worries me, dude. I was like, he's like, no. He's like, he goes, what we're thinking about doing is knocking the house down. I was like, okay. It's not livable, it costs too much, and plus there's like $5,000 worth of back taxes on the property. So he's like, no, we're not gonna, just gonna probably just get rid of it and sell the land or whatever. It's like, oh, okay. But again, dumb things that we would do that would put us in harm's way, that we wouldn't think about twice because we were young and we thought that we lived forever. And dude, I worry about shit like that for my son. My son don't do stupid things, right? He told me, he's 16, he's like, Dad, I want to learn how to drive. I was like, okay, I'll teach you how to drive. I'm terrified. Not teaching him how to drive, but him driving. I'm not saying that he'd be a bad driver, but I'm worried about other people. And he being so young, not really being, like not paying too much attention. Because the people in this town, dude, I've seen them. And there's a lot of people here that aren't worth a shit for driving. The other morning I was going to work and I saw 4 cars run a red light because they were late for work. I'm like, dude, if a car was coming, they would have hit that car. It would have been bad. And I worry for my son. I'm worried about the things he does. Dude, he doesn't do anything. He sits in his room and plays video games all day. So he never leaves the house. But once he gets that license, and he gets a feel for how fun it is to get behind the wheel of a car and just go places, that scares the shit out of me. So I need to teach him right. And he's a pretty responsible kid, but I gotta show him even more responsibility because these days, dude, I've seen stuff around here. There's so many accidents and so many kids like got killed in car accidents. Not here in town, but like out of town. Just traveling from here to there, and it's scary, dude. And again, he's young and he's not gonna think about that shit like I did. And then I'm afraid he's like, I live forever. I can just haul ass and get to where I need to go quick, and I can't do that, dude. You can't do that. Don't ride behind or don't ride in the bed of pickup trucks when you're going out of town, because that shit's dangerous too, man. But yeah, that's some of the crazy things that go through my mind when I'm having insomnia, and I hate it, dude. And you could tell, if you look at me, you could tell. I'm tired, man. I'm tired. I only got like 4 hours of sleep, which is perfect. Because now, tonight, I'll actually be able to go to sleep. No problem, man. But anyways, dude, I'm going to drag this video long enough. So, thanks you. Fuck, dude, I'm so tired. Thank you so much for watching. And I'll see you on the next one.